Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be all about Emma Frost and what she can and can't do and what kind of interesting utilities she does have that I believe many people are overlooking. But anyway, so for the first bit of this video I just did a Labyrinth of Legends fight against Red Hulk just to kind of measure her base damage and where it compares against other high damage dealing champions. I am running suicides in this fight, so clearly that is not the best idea for Labyrinth of Legends, and that is inflating our damage. However, Emma's damage is still quite decent without suicides. Obviously they do help, but in fights like this we do need to keep in consideration recall damage, which adds up quite considerably. But for most part Emma is going to be killing everything in like 1-2 level 2s, so that recall isn't that big of a deal. I have suicides here just because I kind of run them for most part all the time, and that was the mastery setup that I had on at the time I was recording, and I didn't want to change it. And B, just because I do intend to run Emma with suicides for majority of the time. But yeah, so anyways, let's talk about Emma Frost. I'm not going to be going through all her abilities word by word. If you guys want to, you can just open your game and look it up, or you can just go to forums and find it over there. But base idea is that she has two forms, Diamond and Telepath. She starts in Diamond form. When she's Diamond form, she's kind of like immune to everything: shock, bleed, poison, incinerate, exhaustion, fatigue, stun, and you name it, she's immune to it. And in Telepath, she basically can't be evaded, which is something that's extremely useful. For some reason that doesn't work in Labyrinth of Legends, because that way just does not care. But yeah, and that Telepath form is more or less her damage form. And yeah, so she also has interesting abilities on her heavy attacks. While she is in Diamond form, her heavy attack gives opponent hardly any power and increases her power gain. And while she's in Telepath form, her heavy attack places taunts on opponent, so that's definitely an interesting mechanic. And then her level 1s like put either, how do you call it, power sting on opponent, where they take damage if they use special attack, or concussion, which reduces their ability accuracy. But it's nothing like that makes or breaks the character. The main thing you need to know that special attacks can hit for a lot of damage when built with prowess charges. And yeah, and also that Emma is super tanky while she's in Diamond form with all sorts of resistances and stuff. But anyway, so no retreat node. The base idea is we can't dash back twice in a short amount of time, and Emma plays around that perfectly just by her heavy attack, because that gives opponent very small amount of power. Means you can get well into the fight and get past 1 bar of power by the time opponent has hardly started filling theirs. So for this video I'm going to be going through all of the Act 6 Chapter 1 quests, and just to check out how Emma deals with the global nodes, and also taking a look at how she deals with stuff like Aspect of War, Biohazard, All or Nothing and stuff like that. But yeah, so here we're gonna have another fight against the Void with no retreat node on. Other than that, it's nothing too special, just enhanced special 2. And so again, we're gonna start out the same as we did before. We're gonna notice that we launch our heavy attack, opponent hardly gains any power, and we gain quite considerable amount. So we can launch 3 heavy attacks in this method before we switch to Telepath form. And now at this point we can start building our prowess charges and then launch a massive level 2 off. As we can see here, we crit him for 22k, and if the second part crits, it crits normally for like 40 something k damage. But yeah, so Void is already nearly down, and we do not have problems dealing with this no retreat node, just because if it should happen so that we're struggling to pay out a special attack while we're in Diamond form, which we're gonna be most of the time if opponent's close to 3 bars power, we can always just keep throwing our heavy attacks. Anyways, another level 2, Void goes down. So 6.1, quest 1, no retreat, no problem. Here's another fight against no retreat node, and this is can't touch this. So opponents have 50% chance to ignore evade. So let's see how Emma can play around that. So again, we're gonna start the fight with a couple of our heavy attacks, just to get to that Telepath form extremely quickly. And right about now, when we are in our Telepath form, we are ignoring all the evade effects, so we can fight this fight as normal, and there's no issue with that. So we're building up to a massive level 2 once again. We're on 11 progress charges. Normally it's capped at 10, but Captain America Synergy gives us additional one for 20%, so that's quite useful. But yeah, as we saw, like, we did a massive level 2 and that Moon Knight is nearly dead. Now we do not need to kind of bother baiting out his level 2 with no retreat node, just because of Emma Frost's heavy attacks and how little power opponent gains from us using them. And that is going to be extremely useful mechanic throughout this video. But yeah, so we're done with 6.1, we're going to go to 6.2, and basically this node makes we have to make sure that we use a special attack at least every 15 hits on our combo meter, and this line in particular we're playing against Biohazard. So this first fight I'm not playing ideally, just because I shouldn't have started with my heavy method, but luckily we did not get any poisons on. But anyways, so to make sure we are immune to Biohazard, we need to make sure that we are in our diamond form for majority of the time, and that means to make sure opponent is 1 power bar ahead of us for majority of the time. So here he's about to get his power gain, and it's not too big of a deal. We just need to make sure we bait out the special attack, and he's at already only on 20%, so he's nearly down here. And yeah, we didn't have any issues with the Biohazard node. We're gonna have another fight on Biohazard, and that's gonna be against Blade just in a minute, and that's gonna be a better example how we can make sure Emma Frost stays in diamond form for vast majority of the time we're using her. And it's simple, we just need to hit opponent with our regular attacks and keep an eye on power bars. So if we for most part stay away from our heavy attacks, we're gonna have no problems remaining in diamond form, just because traditionally when you hit opponent they gain more powers than you do, so they're gonna be getting to full power bars before you, and that's all there is to it. So just like that, we're bypassing Biohazard. Now we chose to launch our level 1 just because we want to bait out opponent's level 1, and that's gonna make sure that we have less power than they do and we remain in our diamond form once they use their level 1. And again, he gets to his level 1 before we do, so we remain in diamond form, and we can just throw our special attack, and we're basically in this entire fight we have been in diamond form without any worries or problems against Biohazard, and that hasn't been had at all. Now he's gonna basically force us into telepath form, but at this point he's A, nearly dead, and B, we can just launch our special attack from distance. But yeah, so that's that done. Let's move on and let's go to 6.3. So basically this is long distance relationship, so now we're essentially just going to be checking how well Emma Frost can keep opponents in distance. And once again, and just by using her heavy attacks, it's a simple and easy job, because heavy attacks lunge opponent quite far distance away, so we do not really get any of the weakness debuffs on us. And also our special attacks are long ranged special attacks with projectiles, so we're not going to be stocking up any weaknesses while we're launching our special attacks. Unfortunately, Ultron isn't really the best matchup for Emma, not just because of the class disadvantage, also because of the fact that he heals from any energy damage taken. But as we saw previously, her level 2 has concussion, which can prevent that, and he did not heal at all on our second hit from the level 2. But yeah, aside from that, we are staying clear of all and any kind of weakness debuffs, so that's a simple and easy job to do. Unfortunately here our second hit didn't crit, so Ultron did heal up some, but yeah, the fight's nearly over anyways, and Emma didn't have any problems here either, so we're just gonna finish him off right here. And yeah, my apologies again, I am recording these videos at work, so you might have some background noise. Anyway, so let's move on. 6.4, aspect of war Rhino, with that node where we need to keep close to opponent, otherwise we start degen. But yeah, so let's check how we can deal with aspect of war. And here is another amazing piece of Emma's utility, and that is the simple fact that she is extremely durable and hardly takes any block damage, even against these stacked Act 6 opponents. So she has no problems taking a couple hits in the block, baiting out a heavy attack from Rhino, and then launching a massive level 2 and kind of like easily dealing with this aspect of war node. And yeah, I do know that many people were struggling with this, and Emma is definitely a great option for this, because for most part we can keep the pressure on opponent, keep them in corner and just kind of make sure we are healing along the way, and then just launching massive special attacks to kind of finish everything off. But yeah, and what is going to be next fight? Next fight is going to be Stun Immune Void, because a lot of you might be thinking that a vast majority of Emma's utility comes from her ability to kind of effectively launch heavy attacks and parry stun opponent. That's not really the case. Once again, her great damage output in kind of short, big bursts, as well as her like tankiness, provide her with a great platform for simply kind of like being aggressive, block baiting heavy attacks, staying close to opponent, and then punishing them extremely hard with massive level 2s. As we saw here, level 2 hit for like 70k damage or something like that, so that's some impressive numbers there. But yeah, so this fight against Stun Immune Void, also nothing too special for our Emma Frost. It's almost over right here. We're just gonna get level 2 and then punish him. And yeah, that should be it. So next we're gonna go into 6.5 with the Power Struggle node. That node is extremely interesting, especially for Emma Frost, just because of her heavy attack and how the mechanic works. So basically Power Struggle, the idea there is that we can't gain any power through normal means. Whenever opponents fill a bar of power, we do gain 1 bar of power as well, but whenever opponent uses special attack, we lose all our power stored. However, now if you take a look at Emma's heavy attacks while in diamond form, we can basically launch a ton of heavy attacks before even opponents get to 1 bar of power. So if we are fighting anything that has like annoying special attacks to evade, or we simply don't want to be bothered evading special attacks, then parry heavy tactic is the way to go. I do believe we can get to about 15 heavy attacks by the time opponents fill 1 bar of power. So that is definitely some interesting and unique mechanic Emma Frost has over there. Also, if we do want to fight the fight normally, like we would with other champions, we are free to do so using our regular attacks. And there we're gonna see, here I messed up a bit, but that's not a big deal, because we are so tanky. So we ate a full combo and we nearly lost like, under 10%. So that's definitely some great tankiness. Unfortunately here we didn't crit, so the fight is gonna go on for a bit longer. But yeah, so when it's also against this node, you can control in which form do you want to remain in, by either choosing to use your level 1 when opponents get to a bar of power or not. So if we keep our power stored, opponents use their special attack, they lose power before you do, and that means you switch into telepath form till the next time they fill bar of power. However, if you do choose to keep your power and don't use your special attack, then basically you can get to the other form. Anyways, so now we're moving on to the Hurt Locker in 616 node, and all that node does is basically kind of like prevents us from using same special attack 2 times in a row, which is not a big problem. But the main reason what we wanted to kind of like come to this quest and take a look at what Emma can do is going to be that all or nothing path. That all or nothing path in 616 is actually quite unique, because it has all or nothing, and it also has all specials are unblockable kind of thing. So if you would happen to taunt opponents and they have like avoidable special attacks, you could potentially be in quite a big of a trouble, just because yeah, all their special attacks are unblockable, and if they have like special attacks that are hard to evade, you would end up eating them in face. But Emma Frost has a way to play around all of that, and that is that she can choose which special attack she wants to taunt, and let me demonstrate that to you in a second. So here we are going to go to the War Machine. As we all know, War Machine has like a really nasty to evade level 1. You can do it, but definitely it's not consistent, and that's not something you would normally want to do. So, and obviously he also has all or nothing. So let's see what we can do with them. So we start the fight as normal, just by launching a couple of our heavy attacks. And now we get to 1 bar of power. And if we would want to bait out the level 1, this is as simple as that. That's all we would do. We would just hit them with a heavy attack, make sure they're past 1 bar of power, and bait out the special attack. However, we want to get to level 2. So what we did there is we got to our own level 2 We used it on an opponent, and now while he is under 2 bars of power still, we are reverting back to using only heavy attacks. And we actually managed to outpace opponent in our power gain, and we got to our 2 bars first. That meant we got to our telepath form before opponent reached 2 bars of power. We were able to land a heavy attack, place a taunt on opponent, and kind of like choose to bait out a level 2 attack. And yeah, so that was as simple as that. We could finish this fight off in a number of ways. I'm just kind of like messing about here. But yeah, so this is exactly the way how Emma Frost can choose whether she wants to bait out special attack 1 or special attack 2 out of all or nothing opponents, which is also kind of like a unique mechanic. I don't think pretty much anybody else in the game can simply do that like that. But yeah, so we're just going to quickly finish this fight off and going to move on to the next one, where I'm going to demonstrate kind of the same idea again. And that next fight is going to be Cosmic Spider-Man. So Cosmic Spider-Man, obviously he has a tricky to evade level 1, very easy level 2. So obviously we prefer to evade his level 2, so that is the one we're going to taunt. And we're going to start the fight off just as we did the previous one, just by a bunch of heavy attacks, getting quickly to 1 bar of power. Now we're going to use our regular attacks to build up to our own level 2. And that's going to be a big level 2 as well, because Emma's level 2 specials attacks are so good. But yeah, anyway, so we shoot our level 2 attack here. Unfortunately, the second part didn't crit, but anyways, it doesn't matter too much. Now we're just going to revert back to our heavy attacks to outpace opponent to the 2 bars of power. And because we can do that, we revert to telepath form, and we are able to place a taunt on opponent with our heavy attack. And now we just need to bait out the level 2, and that's it. We could finish this fight off right now as well if we wanted to with level 2, but I just wanted to show that we can do this kind of thing constantly. So again, we got level 3. We're going to be shooting off our level 3, which also is reducing opponent's power gain by 75% for all sources, including its own, so it doesn't give opponent too much power. And because of that, we are actually able to outpace this Spidey to level 2 once again, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so we're just going to be using our heavy attacks to make sure he doesn't get pretty much any power, and we quickly get to level 2. So here it is. We're going to be landing another heavy attack, put the taunt on, and just bait it out. So that's as simple as that when it comes to dealing with opponents that have all or nothing, or when you have a preferred special attack you want to evade. So obviously, because of how big Emma's specials are, you can also quite reliably just out damage them for the most part. But anyways, that's gonna be pretty much it for me in today's video. I just want to leave you with the thought that yeah, Emma Frost is already amazing, kind of like top of the line champion. If you just take her for what she is, with her immunities, with her big special attacks, she's great. If you learn how to play around her and all her utilities, she's absolutely amazing and gets to a completely new level. And that is exactly why I chose to rank 5 my Emma Frost over so many other amazing options. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me in today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I hope you guys maybe learned something new about Emma Frost. And if you did, please do feel free to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share it around. I'm gonna see you guys very soon in one of my next videos. See ya.